Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia and to another review of Darwin's game, the anime. That's right, episode 3, and yes, I know it's been a while, but I've finally been able to find a legal way of watching this series again after cancelling my Funimation subscription. So if you want to watch this show, then you can basically watch it on Crunchyroll if you have that, like I am. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that, we're here to talk about the episode itself. So, we kick off with a really high-pitched sound that has the effect of turning people away, literally. Well, in the show, of course, as the creator of the treasure hunting event doesn't want the public to get involved. You know, it makes a scene, right? And honestly, that sound effect was excruciatingly horrible because I had my headphones up at full volume with both of them in, and hearing that, like the screen sort of like vibrate and everything, yeah, it made me want to turn away quite quickly. And, to be honest, I'm just happy to see Shuka again. I mean, she's a great character, and it's been a while since I've watched Darwin's game, and you know what, I kind of like it. Well, the character that, at least. And I think this could have been the first time that I've sat through the opening. Yep. Sorry about the pause there, I was just trying to think about whether or not it was. But yeah, it's the first time I've actually sat through the opening. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool. You know, it's got a lot of fun, exciting things happening in it. It looks like a lot of stuff is going to happen later on in the show. So I'm intrigued to find out what all that is about. And there's some interesting characters appearing. Like, for example, this image here. Now, we know Shuka's there. She's probably lending out a hand to Kaname. We've got Rein on the other side. She's the information broker. And then we've got two other mysterious characters, which the dude might be the guy from this episode wearing the mask, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm interested to find out who these are and how they all join the clan, I think, because obviously we know that Shuka mentioned about making a clan for yourself, and that could help boost your chance of survival. So, I think that's what this image here is. It's like his comrades that he's going to make throughout the show. Yes, a bit spoilery, but, you know, it's still nice to see that anyway. Like, we see I think it's the girl with the silver hair, white hair. I think she creates, like, ice everywhere, and she might have a twin personality. I might have missaw that, or it might be a different character. But that looks pretty interesting, so let's hope that catches on. Anyway, remember, we're in a treasure hunt. We're on a treasure hunt. And we're looking for rings. If you don't have the right rings, then it's game over for you. But yeah, we have this new feature added to the game, where it's like an alternative camera. And the new feature I thought was pretty cool, as you see different things from a different perspective. So for example, you look at the outside world and it's in ruins. You look at the rings on your wrist and it's like a bracelet. And you can also use this as a tracking device, because you can like hunt for rings using this. And if the rings are moving, that pretty much tells you that you've got an opponent nearby, because the tracking feature has been switched off. So you're allowed to fight, you're allowed to kill, you're allowed to run away, you're allowed to avoid. However, you're not allowed to use a tracking app, but this actually works as one, just not as good. So that was a little bit kind of backhanded in my personal opinion, but hey, it is what it is. It's a cool new feature. Let's see it be utilised in the future of this series. So then, we're in this hotel apartment room, and it's basically like a big trap, created by someone Sigilith. Remember, Sigiliths are like the powers that each player has, and basically this power is used to prevent people from leaving, and it's also the part of the episode where we see the Kaname and Rein team up. Rein is the analysis girl, if you don't remember, or if you haven't seen the episode, and these two characters do team up, and they are pretty similar, if I'm honest. I really did like the way that Rein was like talking about, or Rein, however you want to pronounce the name, was talking about like running away and how that's actually a good feat. Because running away doesn't mean you're scared, or well, you might be, but it doesn't mean that you lose. Running away and surviving in this type of game means you basically win. And she was talking about luck at this point, and because Kaname was like, oh, so the man with the most luck wins here. And she's like, well, luck didn't just come to you. It wasn't just handed to you by your own feet. You worked for it. You ran away from that teddy bear guy, and you basically, you created that luck. You created the opportunity to be able to utilize the luck and to win and get out. So running away isn't, it may be cowardly, but it isn't a loss. It's a way of surviving. I thought that was pretty cool. Even though she's only trying to justify herself and, her excuses for running away. But I still think that kind of monologue and that kind of similarities between these two characters actually work quite nicely. You got Kaname, who doesn't want to kill people just for the sheer hell of it, but he will do if it's necessary, I think. And then you got Rein, who's the information person, and the two are quite smart, so they do bounce off each other quite nicely. And we see that in this episode, which I thought was pretty cool too. So we also learned that there's roughly about 25 players in this hotel room. Some of them have been killed by this masked gunman, so there's probably not a lot left, and some of them are trapped by the vines or killed, which I'll bring up in a little bit. So then, this team up actually seems like a pretty good idea, as I personally like the main character for his smarts. And although in this episode he starts off as, oh, hold on a minute. I'm talking about this bloke. So, although, personally I like the main character for his smarts. He's quite smart and he thinks on his feet. And although he starts this episode off as being dumb as bricks, especially in the fight against the gun dude, but figuring out the trick to the surveillance cameras, the florist, it knows where they are because of surveillance cameras. That was pretty good. Maybe it redeemed his character a little bit for his earlier mess up. But, that fight between him and the masked gunman, that was pretty boring and pretty lame. Like, we find out that you can use the alternative camera as a tracking device. Okay. So what does he do? He goes and hides behind stairs with a bracelet on so that anyone else who thinks, hold on a minute, I can use this app as a tracking device, just points at it and goes, well, he's just sitting there. What's wrong? And he's afraid to shoot, which I get that idea of being afraid and not wanting to kill anybody. But come on, dude. Your life's at stake. Aren't you meant to be making a family with Shuka? Like, if you don't want to, I will. Just saying. But apart from that, I just have one other quick question. Was he pulling a Shiro and trying to do the trace on ability with the gun to see if he can try and use it? I think that's what he's trying to do. I think if he can hold the weapon, he can then manipulate it and create it. Just like with the stun gun. He had it in his hand, and now he can create one out of thin air. He had a gun in his hand, now he can create one out of thin air. So I think he's trying to do the same thing with this machine gun. And it's only going to work if it's not someone else's silk. I don't think he can copy someone else's power and use it. So we'll have to see, and maybe that's going to be like a trump card. Maybe it's like a death sit. Maybe he's fighting the florist in future episodes and is like, ha, you thought I could use a stun gun and a pistol? Bam. Coming at you. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So then, let's keep up with the team up, people, and let's go to Rein. So, the information broker, she was a great addition to this episode. I really did like her first real showcasing. And I love the voice acting for this character. It just goes with the character so well. And seeing the way that she uses her info was pretty neat. But yeah, it took me 2 watches to actually process the information and to understand some of the things she was saying. Because it was going quite fast, and I struggle to read sometimes. But yeah, sometimes I find that a lot of information at once can be a little bit overwhelming. But with this character, she did overwhelm me slightly, but she explains it in a way that does kind of make sense and is easy to understand. So I thought that was quite nice. So she's very kind of accomplished at her job at being an information broker, because part of being one is that you have to be able to give out information so your client can understand it. As well as the fact is, you're meant to give out just the right amount of information, and I do believe she's holding stuff back. We have to wait and see, but as a first sort of like real proper look at her character goes, thumbs up for me. I quite like it. Not as good as Shuka, and speaking of Shuka, let's just mosey on over to her, shall we? Nope, I just got rid of my own webcam. Fun. This girl. Shuka in this episode didn't give any Fs. She easily makes short work of some jabronis and is actually the first placed member in this event already. With, I think they said it was 1,900 points. But I do have to worry, because she might actually go all out crazy mode when she finds out that Kaname is teaming up with another female. I know it's only the information broker, but she seems like she's, having high hopes. Because Shuka's a character that seems to kind of think that Kaname is this, like, really strong, overpowered opponent. And maybe he is, and he just doesn't realize it, and she does. But at the moment, like, if she saw him, like, wetting himself trying to shoot that guy, she'd probably just straight up killing him straight away and be like, well, that was something. But, I want to see Shuka get a little bit crazy. Maybe she actually has a good fight soon. That'd be pretty interesting. Anyway, I don't want her to interfere in this florist thing, though. I really don't. I know it's going to be super cheesy if Kaname walks out of that building and she's just stood there like, wow, I knew you were great. See, I knew you could do it. That's why I didn't bother trying to help you. And they're just like, who's this woman? Tell me now. But I don't want her interfering and like helping out Kaname to defeat the florist. I don't think that'll do the team up any good, and it won't do Kaname's character any good either. He needs to be able to take down a strong and tough opponent by himself or with someone who isn't Shuka. Personally speaking, of course. Now, honestly, apart from the lame battle at the beginning of this episode, I didn't mind this episode overall. It was more of an informational-based episode, as, it did kind of feel like it was dragging on a little bit with all the dialogue, and the story wasn't really progressing anywhere, but we had to learn more about this event. We just got into it at the end of episode 2, so we had to learn how this event works, and then how you can kind of die, how you can get points, and that kind of does, it did what it was meant to do. It was meant to set up and explain what this event is all about, and it shows off that there's actually some people betting on this event, which is pretty sick, if I'm honest. Kind of reminded me of the Hunger Games, but here we are. But yeah, it was a setup episode, and it did what it needed to do. Now, just like the main character stated in this episode as well, all the enemies so far have been like killing, loving freaks, but now we have this wimp of a guy who goes by the name of the Florist, and his power is these weird vines that kind of trap his opponents, which I thought was kind of cool. It's like trapping people and then brainwashing them. Okay, that's cowardly, but it's useful. Anyways, it was a good episode, but really the only word I can use to describe it was good. I'm excited and wanting to see more, and to see how things play out in this event, so I'll be waiting for the next episode, obviously. Now, I know that this review and watching it on the Crunchyroll website is behind the official release. However, I would greatly appreciate it if none of you in the comment section spoil anything for myself or for anyone who, again, hasn't caught up with everything. However, that being said, please let me know all your thoughts on this episode down below. Did you like it? Is there anything? I know I missed a couple of things, but I didn't feel like they were that important. What do you think is going to happen if you don't know what's actually happening? And what do you think about the characters that we know of so far? Anyways, if you like the video, dislike the video, I guess. I'll be trying to get these videos out on a weekly basis on a Sunday night. But if I'm busy on a Sunday, then it'll be on a Monday, just like today. Apart from that, I hope you'll have an amazing day, and I'll catch you then. Bye.